Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next generation of Stat Sports. It's an exciting day for us because today isn't just about unveiling a product, it's about sharing our vision. A vision that takes everything we've learned and projects it into the future of athletes' performance. This is the start of the next generation. When we launched Apex, we redefined what live performance data means in elite sport. We were the first and only to deliver peer-reviewed FIFA quality data in real time. Today, we take that even further. Apex 2.0 is the most advanced technology in the sports wearable industry, a full next-gen roadmap for high performance. The entire Stat Sports ecosystem is entering a new era. And it's not just for the professionals. We're bringing that same elite-level technology to the next generation of grassroots players. For amateur clubs and grassroots coaches, we've created Sonrail Lite, a streamlined platform that makes team management and GPS insights simple, fast, and affordable. For the individual athletes, we're launching Stat Sports Academy. This is more than just an app, it's a pathway. Young players will not only track their data, they'll learn about the physical, tactical, and mental demands of the modern game. And they'll be guided by the very best. Because this isn't just endorsed by the pros, it's powered by them. Top professionals like Harry Kane will be delivering exclusive masterclasses that help them reach the top of the game. The Stat Sports Academy gives every kid a shot at reaching pro-level standards. So today, you'll hear from the minds behind these innovations. This is more than just a product launch. This is the next generation of Stat Sports.
Our first guest is someone who's helped redefine what we think about athletic performance, not through guesswork, but through data. What started as a conversation on a side of a pitch literally turned into one of the biggest data companies in sport. Stat Sports has grown from that sideline idea into a powerhouse of performance technology. Please welcome co-founder of Stat Sports, Sean O'Connor. Yes, delighted to say that I am joined by Sean now. Well, Sean, it's a very exciting time for Stat Sports. Before we get into all of the details on Apex 2.0, you might tell me about the sports science world back in the early 2000s when you started out and what it was like then, and I suppose what tools were available.
Very different, I suppose, the simple way to put it. When we look back to 2008, 2009, when we're going to teams and primarily dealing with fitness coaches, whereas now you have a fitness coach, you have sports scientists, data scientists, and different layers within those areas. So the industry in itself was very much in its infancy. And I suppose it's evolved as the technology has evolved. And as we've pushed the barriers within the technology and what we can offer, we've seen how that has grown within clubs. So it's very exciting to look back at Viper in 2012. Live data back then was quite novel and accurate live data. What we offered was a laptop and a beacon that was plugged into the laptop that needed this, what we call our KitKat antenna. It was 4 big bars. So it wasn't as transportable, as flexible as what we have right now, but it was the best in class at that time. It was revolutionary. But when you reflect back on where we are now to then, the changes and the leaps in technology is fascinating to watch. And it makes us proud of what we did then, but also where we've come and what we're offering now as a huge step forward as well.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the transition between the technology. And I think when you think back to then, how much trust was there around the data?
Trust, it was, the whole idea was so new. So back then in the early days, you're going out to teams and you're literally pointing to the sky to explain GPS and how it works and how the data is going to be collected. So the concept of what it was had to be explained back then. You don't have to do that now. So it's accepted the concept of the technology and where the data comes from. So back then there were definitely would have been challenges with the data that we don't see today because of the improvements in the capabilities of the technology. But it was very much groundbreaking at its time. But it wasn't so much a trust in the data as in the concept of what this is and the role that it plays in performance at that time had to be explained and justified, and we had to bring people along that journey at the time.
Fast forward a few years then, when you launched the original Apex unit, what was different about Apex then that people started to use the technology differently and they trusted it?
The biggest advancement actually was probably around the live data. So as I mentioned before, you were tethered to a laptop to 4 beacons. But with Apex in 2016, you're instantly able to use an iPad. And you have the flexibility that multiple people using multiple iPads, watching the same session, different sessions. Not only the user-friendly nature of that, the experience that people had was so more advanced than what it was previous, but also the data quality. Within Apex 1, the onboard metric calculation, and without getting too technical, being able to calculate the data on the device and send it back to an iPad, to a watch, via a beacon, gives you live data of a quality that's unmatched. And in 2016, 2017, there was research published by an Australian university to show that the data we produce live correlated 100% to the data that we downloaded afterwards. So that was a huge advance at that time, and to this day is still unmatched. And building on that with Apex 2.0 allows us to look forward for AI and in what would come to now within Apex 2.0. But we're still the only company in our industry that has our full product suite FIFA approved and FIFA testing at a level beyond anyone else. So we're not just coming out with technology and advances like off a whim. We've built what we built with Apex that we launched in 2016. Building upon that is already putting us into an area that other companies are unable to achieve.
And I'm sure there was skepticism around it. Have you seen a big shift with players, with managers, with clients, that they're now seeing the real benefits?
Yeah, the technology has evolved, the industry has evolved, and I suppose the biggest example of that would be if you take Mikel Arteta and you take Ruben Amorim, like they were players who at the tail end of their career would have been wearing our devices. So they were wearing them and understanding that data as a player and how that helped them. And now they're on the other side of that as coaches and managers and understanding what that data can bring them as a manager of a club. But not only that, the example of like this is no longer purely data that sits within a performance department. This goes so deeper within clubs. I recently sat with an owner of a Premier League team, and he was able to spin his laptop around me to show me data for what he expects from his wingers in terms of number of sprints and accelerations and speeds. So this data is penetrating clubs at boardroom level, and it's informing decisions around recruitment, around like the application what players are bringing to the club. So if the data is getting that far within a club, it needs to be something that they can rely on to make decisions, hugely important decisions. So for us, that live data, the quality that we bring, the FIFA testing, all that layers up to giving clubs the comfort to make decisions on data that they trust. And I think that's what really sets us apart, that this is way beyond just a performance tool. It's hugely important as a performance tool, but it's now penetrating much, much further within a club.
Well, Sean, we spoke about the original Apex unit. Could you give me some examples of the developments within Apex 2.0?
I suppose we talk a lot about the live data and the ability of which the platform that allows you to make decisions. So building on that, Apex 2.0 is 5G enabled, which is going to play a big part in improving and accelerating that further. But also after the session, 5G enabled, and with the advances within the technology and the smart dock, we're able to get the data into our cloud platform instantly after a session. And we hear a lot about AI and machine learning, but to give an actual example of what that means and how that applies to us at this point in time is that within minutes after the session, if your data is in the cloud, one, people can view it from anywhere in the world, whoever needs access to it. But two, we're able to apply our AI metrics and been able to identify, for example, automatic drill cutting. So after a session, instead of having someone that has to identify this was the warm up, this was this part of the drill and these parts of the session, using AI to automatically detect those gives time back, as we discussed. So it's giving time back to the individuals at the club, but it's also allowing us to better understand what happens within a session and to interpret that data more efficiently.
So those results are sitting on the cloud, so no matter where you are in the world, you can access them.
Exactly. So it's not a case of it's on one person's machine as it would have been in the past, and to share it then becomes cumbersome. So using the tools and the advances within our architecture of our cloud platform allow us to, within multi-club setups, allows somebody to be able to look at data centrally from teams within one organization or multiple organizations, and the data can come centrally. So it's a huge advance.
Yeah, you save time and you can improve things quickly.
For sure. There was a huge shift from Viper to Apex, and a great one now from Apex to 2.0. And we always talk about, as we make developments within Stat Sports, be it features or hardware developments, everything we do, we always have a mindset of how can we give time back? Because, as you said, the download process 5, 6 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, could have been certain things you wanted to do might take an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Whereas now with live data, with the ability to go from the smart dock straight to the cloud, and that could be somebody sitting in a different side of the world can then get that information instantly. That gives people time back. As we know, sports, emotional, depending if you won or lost at the weekend, the training ground, the mood, the atmosphere, everybody's got a lot of things to do. So people don't have the luxury of sitting and waiting to take data and to put it into different formats. So being able to use our APIs to push the data where it needs to be to make informed decisions and to do that quickly is huge.
Well, we're always getting told to train with the same intensity that you would play with in a match. How can Apex 2.0 really help with that?
Yeah, like that's an accepted principle, being able to, if you want to perform on a match day at a certain intensity, that at periods throughout the week, not the whole time, but at periods you need to make sure that you can perform at that intensity or even above it, so that when it comes to match day that you're physically capable. And I suppose one of the overriding principles of the system is fundamentally understanding what happens in a match. So to understand what happens in a game per position, per playing style, and know what's required of that athlete, then allows you to take that and translate that into a training session. So we have, even within the system, what we call our MIP, the max intensity period. So we can identify a 3-minute period of the maximum intensity for each player, and then you can take that into a session. So when we talk about, and different people will talk about overloading within training sessions to prepare, the data gives you that grounding in which you know, well, here's what we expect. For a 3-minute period, we expect this intensity. So we need to make sure that we can achieve that, and you can get that instantaneously on the side of the pitch.
And I'm sure you've seen that within clients and clubs that have used that they've seen the benefits and the improvements.
Absolutely, and that's right at the core of the system, being able to take the data and make an informed decision about what's happening live, and did we achieve what we expected to? Do we need to do a little bit more? How do we make sure that our expectation and outcomes for the session have been met?
And that's crucial to be that 1% better than the other team.
That's it. Everybody's got to take that data and apply it for themselves to find the wins for them within that and how they maximize the information to get the most out of their players on any given match day.
Amazing. Well, it's been an incredible journey. You must be pretty proud of what you've achieved here so far at Stat Sports.
Yeah, we're probably guilty of always looking forward and not taking stock and going, you know what, this is what we've done is incredible, because it's down to the staff, the team that we have at Stat Sports. What we're able to achieve is only because of the people in the team, but also our clients, and we're constantly encouraging our clients to challenge us, because if we have an idea and a vision of what we want to do and what we think we can, the barriers that we can break in this industry, what AI can bring to sport, and how we can make that tangible and real and not just this big umbrella term. And I think internally, but then working alongside our clients and taking them on that journey and having them play a part in that, that's where I think it gets really exciting for the future.
Amazing, Sean. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Let's dive into Apex 2.0.
Introducing the next generation of athlete performance tracking and analysis. Precision engineered for the demands of modern athletes and high-performance teams. powered by AI and machine learning for peak physical performance and optimization. With improved processing power, Apex 2.0 delivers instant actionable insights, engineered for enhanced centimeter positional accuracy. Our new smart beacon with ultra-wideband and RTK technology means practitioners experience zero data dropout. Tested with gold standard speed validation. Access your data in seconds. Share insights instantly with your entire team, all through StatSports Cloud. Trusted by elite professionals.
Okay, now let's talk about something game-changing. Apex 2.0 is here, and it's set to completely transform how we monitor athlete performance. We're talking about deeper, richer data insights, streamlined workflows for coaches, and enhanced communication across key internal teams. To take us deeper into what all of this really means in practice, please welcome Aaron Beattie. Yes, delighted now to be joined by Aaron. Well, Aaron, tell me a little bit about your job here at StatSports.
Yeah, so I am the Sports Science and Research Manager here at StatSports. I've been here for almost 6 years now. Initially, I was working with the account management team, working with our elite clients. And then in the last number of years, been working in product development and the sports science team, largely working on the next generation of hardware.
Brilliant. And it must be very enjoyable being involved in sport yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, whenever you're growing up, I guess it's what everyone wants to do. You always want to be involved in sport in some way. And yeah, being able to combine your job with something that you're very passionate about, it's a dream.
Good stuff. Well, tell me a little bit about the StatSports Next Generation Suite.
Yeah, so the Next Gen Suite involves 3 elements of hardware. We've got our Smart Dock, Smart Beacon, and of course the 2.0 pod itself, the GPS device. And all of these devices combine together to really deliver a high-performance workflow for elite organizations where only excellence is accepted. And that's what we strive for: accuracy, reliability, and of course, optimized workflow for these organizations.
So what can we expect then from Apex 2.0?
So with the pod itself, the Apex 2.0, it is our most precise device released to date. It is more powerful, it has higher processing power, and we've increased the accuracy as well. So that's massive for our teams. They know that what they're using is accurate, reliable, and of course they need to be able to trust what they're doing and the data they're getting. Every decision they make, every time they work with an athlete, they need to know that the data is the best of the best, and this device will give that to them and really future-proof them as we move forward into the next few years.
And in terms of the Smart Dock then, how will that change things for coaches and performance staff?
Yeah, so the Smart Dock will really revolutionize how coaches work. What we're able to do with the Smart Dock is that after a session is finished, all coaches now have to do is connect the GPS device to the dock, and their data is automatically going to be uploaded to the cloud. Previously, you would have had to go through a manual process. Now, it's simply connect the device, walk away, no time wasted, no manual intervention, the data is uploaded, and then it's available on our cloud system for all of our users.
So that's incredibly easy and time efficient for staff and for coaches.
100%. So coaches, everyone knows how busy they are, often involved in everything from setting up equipment for training, helping with nutrition, helping with rehab sessions. We're removing an extra step in their day. Things are automated, much quicker, less time wasted in front of a laptop. They get the results and their data quicker, and decisions and coaching, of course, that's a priority for them. So they keep working on that.
Brilliant. Well, talk to us then about Sonar Cloud and what this means.
Yeah, so the cloud is a massive part of our Sonar ecosystem. So what we're doing with the direct upload of data from the dock to the cloud allows coaches remotely, anywhere in the world, to be able to view this data almost instantly. So whether you have a full federation using our Sonar system or individual clubs, whatever that structure might be, practitioners all around the world can view the data whenever they want. Don't need to be in the training ground, don't need to be pitch side. It allows full, unencumbered access to the data.
And the Smart Beacon, it has been introduced with Apex 2.0. How will this change things?
Yes, so the Smart Beacon is a key component of our live system. We are the only peer-reviewed live data system on the market, and it's something that's massive for our end users. So with our live system, we have already removed any gap, any query between our live data and our downloaded data, they are identical, 100% correlated, your live system with your downloaded system. So what that gives end users is trust and confidence in what they're seeing live. So they know decisions they're making on the field to inform their training sessions, to inform their athletes. They're exactly what they're going to see when they download the data, and they can know they have full trust in the system. So with the Smart Beacon, we are adding extra capabilities to that. We are increasing the range of this beacon. So one beacon will now be able to cover 2 pitches, up to 300 meters. We're also then able to bring RTK into the mix. What RTK will give us is we now have the ability in any environment, training ground, stadiums, wherever the teams are training, are able to use this technology to ensure that they are getting centimetre level position accuracy, and the speed data will be absolute precision. So with that, the beacon is actually able to apply corrections to the data to guarantee that no matter the environment, we have the highest quality possible for all of our data. Also, with the beacon, we also are able to introduce cellular technology, so we can upload data direct from the pitch via the beacon to the StatSports cloud. Unmatched ability that will really put us at the forefront of the industry. And moving on to our beacon range test as well. So we've enhanced our range capabilities of our new Smart Beacon. So just in this example here, we have a beacon in the corner of the field. And with this one beacon, we're now able to get up to 300 meters of range of live coverage of all of our GPS pods on a field. So in this example, we have 2 players running from one corner to the other. And as you can see, when they're running, the live data is streaming in on the iPad here. So we have the total distance increasing as the players run. What we also have is the current speed. Every single second these players are moving, our current speed is displaying on the iPad, and that is accumulating and adding to the distance of the players. So we can see with one single beacon, every single inch of a field is covered, and we have guaranteed live data across that entire environment.
So your coach or performance staff are standing on the side of the pitch, they have their iPad, and they have all this information instant and live.
Yeah, 100%. So they know that with this technology and the guaranteed quality of the data, they have full coverage. They're not going to miss a single second, a single speed point, a single sprint, and they know that every single action and event that their players do is covered and tracked by the StatSports system.
And StatSports also offers a complete smart infrastructure. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that our smart infrastructure gives us is, again, it's giving time back to coaches. So we have an example here of a high performance environment. What we were able to do is install our smart beacons at various locations permanently. They're wired in around the training ground. The first thing that this gives coaches is it removes the need for them to bring a portable beacon. They don't need to charge, they don't need to transport, they don't need to set it up. They know that when their athletes are on the pitch wearing the GPS device, every single inch of the training ground is covered, and they won't miss any data at all on their live system. So on their iPad, they have full coverage of every single field, every area. If training groups are working in different areas or even different fields, sometimes a rehab group would operate in another pitch. This can all happen at the same time, and the coach will capture everything on their iPads.
Brilliant. So that's so different. So the coach can be on one pitch and keep an eye on maybe other players that are rehabbing on another pitch.
Absolutely. So 2, 3, however many pitches the teams use, even at different points, if they're chopping and changing, going to different areas, every single pitch is covered by the same system. All the data will transfer into the same iPad, and one coach can monitor all of this on an iPad. Or of course, if you have multiple coaches, multiple iPads can be used. It's completely customizable to each end user and each client. And then this guarantees that with this system, again, the coaches can put their trust in it. The data is going to be identical. Every single moment is captured. So we know that the live data captured on this system is identical to what the coaches will see with their downloaded data. And again, this is very, very important both for coaches, but also for players. They can put their trust in their coaches to make informed decisions with very accurate data. And of course, that brings the best results for everybody.
And in terms of the data, it's identical to the radar gun, which is considered the gold standard. How important is that?
Yes, it's massive for us. So what we have with the radar gun is that it's long been the benchmark in speed validation in the industry. So by being able to validate our data, both post-session and live with the radar gun, it gives that level of confidence to the end users, to our clients in the industry. They know that the data is of the highest possible quality, it's absolute precision. And again, by ensuring the live data and the post-session data are identical to each other, but then also identical to the radar gun, it's just that another level of confidence, that another level of trust for these end users, that they know the system is the best of the best.
And it's really exciting that Apex 2.0 has achieved FIFA quality results.
Yes, so the FIFA quality testing is the most rigorous testing for data quality and accuracy in the industry. Effectively, it's a stamp of approval, but it's a stamp of approval that really matters to our clients. It's the guarantee from an organisation as big as FIFA that our data is top tier. It's the best of the best, and they know that it can be trusted. So the test itself is completed against 3D motion capture, considered the gold standard for all motion capture in the industry, and being able to correlate so strongly and achieve such high results with both our live data and our post-session data. It's massive for us, it's massive for our clients, and it really, again, gives them that trust in the system that they're using the best products on the market.
And finally, Aaron, we're going to turn our attention to baseball. You've been working on some developments there. Is there anything to tell us?
Yes, of course. So in recent years, we've really grown our presence in baseball, both in America and around the world. So what we've been doing, whilst also developing our Apex 2.0, is we've been focusing on identifying baseball-specific metrics. So with that, we've been looking at rotational load, pitching mechanics, and force-based metrics, because there's so much of the sport of baseball that isn't going to be captured by your running-based metrics. You need to have batting, you need to have pitching, to really give coaches this lens to get an all-encompassing idea of the load that their players are really experiencing. So still in development, still working on it, but exciting times ahead and results are looking good.
Well, Aaron, incredible insights there. Thank you so much for joining us. With Apex 2.0 and Sonra, we're redefining what's possible in elite performance monitoring. What does this mean? It means smarter decisions faster. It means less guesswork and more precision. It means you're always one step ahead. Here to tell us about Sonra's new features, please welcome Brian Clark. Yes, great now to be joined by Brian. Brian, can you tell us a little bit about your role here at Stat Sports?
Sure, yeah. So I'm the accounts director for North America. So I work directly with our clientele over there in our Chicago office.
Brilliant. And before you joined Stat Sports, you're actually a coach within the NCAA.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was a strength and conditioning coach at the collegiate level in American football, working directly with Western Kentucky University.
Brilliant. So tell me a little bit about your roles and responsibilities there, because I'm sure you took a lot of insights from that into your job now at Stat Sports.
Yeah, so I was involved in all facets of our training program, from the weight room to on-field conditioning, sports science, rehabilitation, recovery, and even nutrition.
And what do coaches look for within sports technology?
So accuracy and reliability. They want products that provide consistent data no matter where they're at, whether that's a stadium abroad or at a different training pitch than what they're normally used to. Also validated data as well. Other things would be advanced tools like live tracking or real-time alerts. And then also actionable metrics that relate to the sport that they're working with. And then they can also relay that to coaches that they're working with also.
And is that why you joined Stat Sports? I'm sure all that info could have helped you as a coach.
I had all those things as a coach at Western Kentucky with the Stat Sports system that we utilized. Coming to Stat Sports, Stat Sports is very driven by continuing to enhance on those things and build upon those things that make the Stat Sports system great, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Amazing. Well, Stat Sports is known for its gold standard live data, and we talked to Aaron a little bit ago about the features of Apex 2.0. Could you tell me a little bit about 96 players live?
Having a greater number of players live really benefits coaches, especially in sports that have large roster sizes like American football. Coaches no longer have to decide who they're going to monitor live. They can see everybody. There's no more blind spots within their team. Also, they can monitor different groups, maybe training at the same time, whether that's a rehabilitation group or a position-specific group that they want to focus in on. And then they can gain deeper insights into those different groups and even look at each individual athlete during that training session.
And why is it important to constantly be adding new features to live?
As sports science evolves, teams need technology that's adaptable. With adaptable technology, coaching styles, and even player feedback is enhanced.
And I'm sure you've seen that firsthand when you're out meeting the clients and you're getting their feedback on what's working and what's not.
Yeah. Even my own experience, utilizing live when I was a coach, advancing on those feedbacks, adding more metrics, adding deeper analysis tools, only benefits communication between performance staff and position coaches.
And what does that mean for coaches? And I suppose, how does it change their practice?
It bridges the gap between physical performance or physical coaching and technical coaching. So now we're blending the two. It's not one entity and another. We're actually coming together to find solutions for how an athlete's performing on the field.
Well, Brian, could you tell us a little bit more about the smart infrastructure?
Yeah, so our fixed infrastructure system now allows that live data to be fixed within a training environment. So logistically, it's great for coaches because they're no longer having to set up our portable beacon system prior to training and having to feel through logistical issues where we may have a large group right here training predominantly on this field and then have a rehabilitation group off on another pitch. They no longer have to worry about they're getting that data or the accuracy of that beacon. It's all fixed and they can see it wherever they're at on that training environment.
And that will, in return, I suppose, help with the workflow. They'll get time back.
Absolutely. Coaches can just walk out onto the pitch and start their live session on the iPad and they're good to go.
Well, Brian, a new feature of the Sonora Plus, it is the sprint analysis. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So in sprint analysis, we can get a detailed breakdown of a sprint attempt through different segments of time and also distance.
Amazing. Well, we do have an example here of this. You might talk us through.
So in this example here, you can see originally we would get this information through extra hardware like timing gates, where they'd be set up at certain intervals where we'd get this information. Now with our sprint analysis tool, we can get it from the GPS device that the athletes are wearing. No extra setup here. We can get all of that just if they're wearing it.
Okay, so you're getting a lot of time back then for the coaches because you don't need these timing gates anymore.
Yeah, no longer do I have extra setup and I can run multiple athletes at the same time and get all this information.
Well, Brian, one of the features of Sonora Plus is the force velocity profiling. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so force velocity profiling is the relationship between the force an athlete can produce and the velocity at which they can move. So in sprinting, some of the things we're looking at is maximum force, so the maximum amount of force an athlete can produce at the beginning of a sprint or at zero velocity, maximum velocity, the top speed that they hit during that sprint, and then also maximum power, which is the peak power that they hit during that run as well.
Brilliant. So how important then is force velocity profiling within sport for coaches?
Yeah. So the profile provides coaches with information whether an athlete is force dominant, so they're better at the start of a sprint, or if they're velocity dominant, where they're better at top end speed of a sprint. This helps coaches tailor training to the individual and ultimately helps them address weaknesses within their sprinting ability.
Well, Brian, you've had success with the LA Dodgers, winning the World Series last year. Can you tell me a little bit more about your work within MLB?
Yeah, it's been fantastic to work with the Dodgers because we've learned a lot about how we can better serve teams in the MLB with bespoke tools and metrics that help them understand the physical outputs that their athletes go through. Baseball is a field sport, but much different from others. So getting those insights have been crucial for us. And then also, having our hardware accredited through the MLB is a huge step towards that.
Incredible. Some brilliant insights there from Brian. We did talk about getting time back, so that does lead me nicely into our next guest, Fiona. All right, so let's talk about time, because if you're working in elite sport, you know exactly how precious time is. With Apex 2.0, everything is designed to be compact, concise, and carry-on ready. No excess, no bulk, and no hassle. With our award-winning 24/7 customer service, Stat Sports are always ready to help when you need it. Here to tell us more, please welcome Fiona Sang. Yes, delighted now to be joined by Fiona. Fiona, thanks for joining us. Well, you might tell me a little bit about working here at Stat Sports and what your role is like.
So my role is an account manager at Stat Sports, which is basically our most client-focused role. So every single day I'm working directly with our clients, seeing how they get on with the system, and then getting their feedback, helping them with new stuff, and then obviously working back at Stat Sports to sort of feedback everything.
Amazing. Well, unfortunately, we don't see a lot of women working in the tech industry. What is it like for you?
It can have its challenges. I often find myself like the only woman in a room, which can be daunting, but I've definitely grown in confidence way more because of it. You just have to like force yourself out of your shell a bit. And to be honest, I'm lucky at Stat Sports that I've always felt supported in my role, and every single year we've got more women joining, so I love to see that.
That's brilliant. Yeah, that's key, what you just said there, of having that confidence and backing yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I think for me as well, like I'm working within sport, it is male dominated. You walk into a press box, it's really only males that are in there. But I am seeing a change. For you, what advice would you give to women that are looking to get into the tech industry within sport?
The confidence would be the main thing. I'd definitely tell myself that at the start. Like, you wouldn't be in that role if you weren't deserving of it. So just own it. But also like support and lean on the women around you, like especially if there's not many of you. I actually think that women have this ability to support each other, like, and make each other feel comfortable. So if we keep doing that, then I think more women will join and hopefully stay in the roles.
Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah.
Well, within the elite sport then that you're working in high pressured environments, what is that like for sports scientists?
Yeah, so as I said, like I work with sports scientists every day. And to be honest, from what I've seen and experienced, there is absolutely no typical role. Like at one club, they might be pulled in like a million different directions. So they might be asked to obviously deal with the data, but also like lead the warm-ups, the rehab sessions, even like make the drinks and help with the kit. Another club that might have like way more staff, then the sports scientists will be really data focused. So their main role will literally be to gather the data and then analyse it. But I'd say with that role comes even more pressure when it comes to like getting the maximum insights and like making the correct decisions from it. So there's different pressures in like both types, and lots of people fall somewhere in the middle. The only thing I'd say is consistent across the board with sports scientists is that they're always very busy, they're always on the move, and the GPS data is always at like the central focus of their role.
That is so true. So you're talking about being so busy, planes, meetings, travel, trainings, everything in between. How does Apex 2.0 really help in those situations, in those high pressured environments?
Yeah, so we know from working with our clients and often being practitioners ourselves that the practicalities are so important. So we made some really big improvements to Apex 2.0 purely to help with that side of things. We have a new auto startup feature where the sports scientists can literally schedule all of the units to turn on at once, even before they leave the training ground. So that really helps with like the game day like list of preparations. They can just check that one off. So yeah, one less thing to do on game day. The next thing is like the speed of download is so much faster. So we have a few different options for when they're on the move. So we will have the option to Wi-Fi upload via the dock. So don't need a cable for that. And then the other option is to use micro USB to just download pod by pod, like really easy and portable. And then as soon as that data is downloaded by the sports scientists, then it will get uploaded immediately to the cloud. And practitioners anywhere, so the colleagues anywhere, even if they're back at the training ground, can access that data, make the decisions, even whilst the team is still travelling. So that's really, really useful.
Brilliant. So you're saving so much time there.
Yeah.
You're working with your clients at a high level. What do you think separates a good system from a great system when supporting your clients?
Yeah, it's a fine line, but I'd say a great system really is completely client focused. So we take pride in the fact that we listen to what our clients actually want. Like, so much of our new features come from direct feedback. So they'll talk to me as an account manager, and then I'll feed it back to the team. And some of our like most advanced features, like the force velocity integration, expanding our live to include more metrics and players, like that's come from direct feedback. So we really try to implement that as much as possible and always strive for more.
Brilliant. And when you talk about post-session, a lot goes on. You know, it's very chaotic at the end of a game, end of a training. You want to save that time. How does Sonrup really help in that situation?
Yeah, a few things. Definitely the speed of download. So like after a session, the client doesn't want to be sitting behind their laptop for an hour downloading. So everything is so much faster with the new dock, and they can make those decisions. But also we really take pride in that our live data is so accurate. That's a non-negotiable for us. So even if the coach or the sports scientist needs the numbers right out on the pitch before they even go inside, and then they can trust that the numbers are going to be exactly the same as what's downloaded later in the day. So yeah, really important there.
You mentioned trust there, and that's massive within Stat Sports and building those relationships with the clients.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's nice for you to be there on the ground and to be meeting them all, and if anything goes wrong, you're there 24/7 to be able to help out.
Yeah, it's my favourite part of the job really, is going to the clients and seeing how they use the system in their own way. Like I see it behind the scenes when we're developing it, but actually I'm lucky enough that I can get to see how they're using it in their own ways. And again, if something does go wrong, I'm always there to help. But most of the time, it's just like bouncing ideas off each other and helping them use it in the best possible way.
And I'm sure you see the benefits then and the improvements, and you're speaking to the clients and they're giving you that feedback and also maybe ways to improve too.
Yeah, definitely. I always see the clients when they very first onboard onto the system, so I help them get it set up. And then if I speak to them like a couple months later or I visit them again, it's amazing like the progression that they can make on their own. Like the system is so user-friendly that they learn so much on their own, but also I'm always there to like guide them through.
Well, Fiona, when working in elite sport, things move so quickly, as you know. What makes the customer service for Stat Sports really stand out?
Yeah, I think our customer service is really valuable to our clients. Like we like to see ourselves as the extended arm. Every client has a dedicated account manager plus an entire team behind them. So there's no ticketing system. Like any support they need is like a text, a call, even a visit away. So we can help them really quickly with anything that they need.
What's the best part about your job?
Keeping my foot in the world of sports science. Like I was a sports scientist myself before being an account manager, but also getting to see everything behind the scenes as well.
Well, Fiona, thanks so much for joining me here today. It was great to get that insight into the clients and saving them so much time. Well, now we're going to look into the future. Okay, as we've seen today, Stat Sports is all about elevating performance with powerful tools and insights. But the future doesn't stop here. There's a lot more to come. To give us a sneak peek into this, I'm joined by Patrick Hogan, Head of Elite Product at Stat Sports. Yes, well, I am delighted now to be joined by Patrick. Patrick, tell me a little bit about your role here in Stat Sports.
Yes, so I'm the Head of Elite Product, so I guess I'm responsible for the full product life cycle, so from the vision and design all the way through the development and the delivery to the end user.
And tell me a little bit about the direction and approach that Stat Sports has taken with its future products.
With Stat Sports, I guess we're very lucky that we have a huge client base across the world in various different sports, working with some of the top practitioners, all giving us huge amounts of feedback into the development of our product. And that forms, I guess, the base of our roadmap for 2025 and beyond. We're looking to develop really high impact features that really give back time to our end users. And one of the ways that we're going to do that is through the introduction of AI.
And we've heard plenty of talk within the industry that Stat Sports is moving to a fully cloud-based system. What does that mean exactly?
Well, for our end users, what fully cloud means in practice is that they no longer require a desktop software on their laptop that they take the data from their units. So instead, what we're going to let them do with our new Smart Dock is take the data directly from the units and push it straight to the cloud. So this not only saves time, but also makes life easier for them working across large organizations. So we already have a cloud application and a web application. This is just taking that data and getting it there much quicker. And that's massive for people working in large organizations. So maybe, for example, one head of academy performance who might be responsible for lots and lots of different teams as GPS now makes its way down to academy levels, not just first teams.
And how will these changes really help with the current workflow for performance teams?
I guess one of our main aims is to try to save the user time, but particularly at crucial times. So in that immediate time post-session, for example, like I've seen it myself working with clubs and also visiting our customers around the world, is that immediately post-session, that user is very, very busy. They have players looking to deal with them. They're maybe going to a gym session, you know, they have meetings to go to, or maybe they're trying to get a small bit of food for themselves. You know, that time is very important. So what we're trying to do here is to let them spend less time at their desk. So with our old workflow and what we hope is going to be our future workflow, we'll have some time-saving changes. So turning off the units from the iPad straight away rather than turning them off manually. Syncing drills from our iPad straight to our Sonra cloud. That's going to save them some time as well. Again, less time that they just have to be beside that laptop. The Wi-Fi dock or the smart dock will also save them time in that they just pop them in and then it will upload to the cloud straight away, not having to process session details. You can change those after if you need to. And then the automatic drill creation too is going to be a huge time saver, all in that important period post-session.
So that is massive time saving for the coach and for the
Absolutely.
team as a whole.
Yeah.
So at the moment, they're turning off the devices individually
Yes.
and there's no more of
Yes.
that.
So if we can get our players to do it, then that's great. But sometimes they don't want to do that. So the end user is the one turning off the units.
And then it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can access this information on the cloud.
Absolutely.
And you've mentioned auto drill creation. It's one of the exciting new features. Could you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so work on that is already underway. I guess our current workflow is that a user has two options to create drills. So one is to do it live on the pitch with our Sonra Live iPad app. When they're there watching the session unfold, they can create the drills. The second option is to do it post-session with our activity graph. So what auto drill creation is really there to do is to automate that process that our users are doing every day, that key part of their workflow. And we're going to do that in 2 stages. So I'll show you a quick demo of that now. Once your drills are starting to create, you'll start to see them appear here. So the start and end time is created and the participants in that drill are identified if they're participating in it. So then, as we can see here, we haven't actually the names entered now. We're going to allow the user to enter the name themselves. Before that, they can make some edits if they need to make some tweaks to what our model has suggested for them. And then they're going to be able, like I say here, to input the name themselves. So it's a machine learning model we're using to identify the start and end time of the drill and the participants. And then stage 2 is going to be actually predicting the names of the drills based on your historical drill database and the activity profile.
And how do you see this really benefiting a team?
Again, this is part of the workflow that our users will do every single day. So giving time back to them and letting them spend more time actually using the analysis features of our software and making decisions with the data rather than, you know, the initial stages of getting to that point.
Well, we're hearing a lot about AI and the introduction into many industries. Is that something that you think you'll introduce into Sonra?
Absolutely, yeah. So like I said, it's a machine learning model is used as part of our drill creation, but also when it comes to our chatbot. So our chatbot, again, we're going to use it initially to use our internal knowledge base. So things like metric definitions, things like research done using our system, and also our own user guides. So all these workflows and definitions that basically like a virtual sports scientist that you can communicate with in plain language and it can give you then those answers. The second stage of that then is letting it integrate with the user's own database. So you can ask it questions about your session or your previous sessions, about the players and about different drills. And that is all going to work together again, that you can use your normal plain language like any other chatbot to get those insights quicker.
Well, this leads us nicely to Session Plan Reader. How will this work exactly?
So what we want to do with the AI Session Plan Reader is to take the current session plans that all coaches will create before running a training session. So whether that's a PDF or a spreadsheet or some other form of template, they come in all shapes and sizes and formats. But what we want to do is take that existing document that all of our users will be familiar with and take the key information from that using AI. So to extract information like the drill title, the drill durations, the start and end times, maybe the players who are part of each team in each drill or active in each drill, and also then maybe the description of the drill. So whatever information that is of use to us, that we extract that and then use that for our software. So for example, our session planning tool that we have now that estimates the training loads of players by inputting drill times and drill titles, that would be massively helpful to speed up that process for the user.
Yeah.
It'll be massively helpful also in the automated drill creation post-session. If we already know what players and what drill titles and the rough durations, then that will help our model really quickly with the automated drill creation. As well, then, when we talk about integrating with a chatbot, we'll be able to ask in natural plain language to the chatbot, maybe weeks after that session, remind me what drills that we've done that have, max speed exposures greater than 90% of the player's max speed, but also that we maybe take something from the drill description, so something like, but that we also worked on our finishing or our shot execution. So using plain language to then filter out previous drills, that session, that all stems from the ability to take the session plan.
And Patrick, you've been on the ground, you've been involved with teams, you're seeing the benefits. What are the main benefits do you think that teams can take away from this? And I suppose save time is probably a big one as well.
Ultimately, yeah, saving time on the day-to-day workflows. And I guess that time allows you to then dig deeper into other areas that you may not otherwise have had the time to do. Things like the chatbot will enable you to maybe get access to insights that bit quicker than you would have maybe to, customize reports or exported something. So that all opens doors for practitioners.
All about making your life easier.
Absolutely.
Well, Patrick, the StatSports Sonora Watch, it set a standard within the industry, especially when it comes to the return to play protocols. Is there any new features that we can expect here?
Yeah, the watch really has been a game changer, and it is massively popular with our end users. I guess in terms of the roadmap for 2025 and beyond, we have a couple of new features going to be added to the live watch app. So that includes firstly linking it to your Sonra account, so then information like drills. So we're going to add a drill creation button to the Sonra watch, and then that's going to enable those drills to be sent to the cloud so that the user can cut their drills directly from the watch. And then we're going to also make some changes around the ability to compare players, customize views, and have more metrics live too. Incredible.
And can we expect any developments with Sonra Live?
Sonra Live, yeah, we have a couple of big changes coming. So some of those are enabled by our Apex 2.0 hardware. So some of those have already been released. So things like 96 players live, which is a game changer for practitioners. But for stuff coming down the line in the roadmap, we have two big things. So one is our ability to view live activity graphs, so speed traces on the app itself. And the second then is our benching functionality. So managing players rotating in and out of drills and rotating in and out of games, their active time a bit more easier.
Brilliant, Patrick. Well, it was great to get an insight into the future, and it is most definitely exciting times here at StatSports. StatSports Next Gen product suite is not just new technology, it's a leap forward. Today we looked at where we are, but more importantly, where we are going. Because StatSports isn't just about what you are doing today, it's about building for tomorrow. And if there's one thing we know for sure, is that the future doesn't wait. I'm Aisling O'Reilly, and thank you for being part of the StatSports Next Gen product launch.